All right, welcome. Today we're diving into something that has, well, completely changed how we think about healthcare. Digital health. So let's get right to it.
So let me ask you this. Have you had a doctor's appointment from your couch recently? A video call. Or maybe used an app to get a prescription filled. If you've done any of that since, say, 2020, then yeah, you've already had a taste of this digital health revolution. It's kind of become the new normal for a lot of us, right? But this whole shift, it's being driven by something way bigger than just convenience.
And here is the reality check. We are literally staring down a potential 40% drop in our ability to even see a healthcare professional by 2025. A big reason for that? A shrinking healthcare workforce. This isn't some far-off problem, folks. It's an urgent crisis that is forcing us to completely reinvent how healthcare is delivered.
And that brings us right here to healthcare's digital revolution. We're about to break down exactly why technology in medicine has gone from being a nice-to-have feature to an absolute non-negotiable necessity for keeping our health systems afloat.
So what are we even talking about when we say digital health? What does that really mean? Well, at its core, it's about using all kinds of information and communication tech, everything from complex software to the smartphone in your pocket, to make healthcare better. The goal is super simple: improve how we get care, who can get it, how good it is, and how efficient the whole system is.
And you might be asking, why now? Why is this all happening so fast? Well, it's kind of like a perfect storm of factors. On one side, you have these massive pressures, a healthcare workforce that's shrinking, less access for patients, and this huge growing burden of chronic diseases. But on the other side, you've got this incredible opportunity, the explosion of mobile technology. It's the collision of these two forces that's really pushing digital health into the mainstream at lightning speed.
And look, this shift isn't just happening randomly. It's not the Wild West. The World Health Organization actually has a global action plan to guide all of this. And it's not just about cool new apps. We're talking about a really coordinated push for the foundational stuff. Things like building national data platforms, training the workforce to use these new tools, and creating policies to make sure the technology is actually effective and, super importantly, fair for everyone.
Okay, so let's open up what we're calling the digital toolbox and take a look at the specific tools and terms that make all this happen. Getting a handle on these key pieces is really going to help you see the bigger picture.
First up, we have Health Information Technology, or HIT. The best way to think about this is as the digital backbone of the entire system. It's the infrastructure, right? It's the electronic medical records that finally replace all those paper files, the e-prescribing systems that help cut down on errors. It's basically the plumbing that makes everything else flow smoothly.
Next up is mHealth, or mobile health. Now, this is where digital health gets really personal. It's all about putting incredibly powerful tools right into our hands through our smartphones. This stuff is fantastic for managing chronic conditions like diabetes, or for getting physiotherapy exercises you can do right in your living room, and for tracking your own progress along the way.
Okay, let's clear something up, because these telehealth terms get thrown around all the time and they can be super confusing. This breaks it down perfectly. Think of telehealth as the giant umbrella. It covers pretty much any remote health service from any kind of health professional. Now, telemedicine is more specific. That's when you're getting remote medical services, specifically from a doctor, like a diagnosis or a consultation. And then you have telecare. That's all about the tools you use at home, things like remote sensors or reminder apps on your phone to help you stay safe and independent.
And then, of course, there's the wearable toolkit. And believe me, we've come a long, long way from just counting our steps. We're talking about things like virtual reality systems being used for physical therapy, smart sensors that can analyze your posture in real time, and even smart insults that give your doctor data on exactly how you walk. These devices are literally transforming how we prevent, diagnose, and recover from injuries and illnesses.
All right, so now let's see how all these tools can come together in a really powerful way. We're going to zoom in on one specific application that's a real game changer: tele-rehabilitation.
And this is pretty much what it looks like in practice. We're talking about bringing really sophisticated recovery and therapy programs right into a patient's own home, all guided by technology. This just shatters geographical barriers and makes consistent long-term care not just possible, but practical.
So what is it exactly? Well, tele-rehabilitation is a specialized part of that big telehealth umbrella we talked about. It's the super focused use of communication tech to deliver all those essential rehab services. Assessments, treatments, and ongoing monitoring, all from a distance.
And its application is just incredibly broad.
I mean, we're talking about everything from physiotherapy for your back pain to neurological rehab after something serious like a stroke, all the way to mental health support and even helping older adults prevent falls. Tele-rehab is making a huge impact across pretty much every field of medicine you can think of.
So with all this technology, how does a patient actually experience it all? What does the journey look like from their point of view? Well, there's a simple 3-step framework that really helps clarify the whole process. Okay, so first is digital access. This is just about getting into the system in the first place, like booking an appointment online. Simple enough. Second is digital healthcare delivery. That's the main event, the actual virtual visit or the consultation with your doctor. And third, and this is so important, is digital monitoring. This is the ongoing relationship, using wearables or apps to track your progress long after that virtual appointment is over. So think of it this way: access, delivery, and monitoring. That's the patient's digital journey.
But, it's not all smooth sailing. This massive transformation, of course, comes with its own set of challenges, and we have to be really clear-eyed about the hurdles we need to overcome to make this digital future work for everyone. The first and maybe most obvious question on everyone's mind is our health data safe? I mean, we're talking about the most sensitive, personal information imaginable. So making sure there's rock-solid cybersecurity and that everyone is following data protection laws, that's not just a technical detail. It is the absolute foundation of patient trust. Without it, the whole thing falls apart. And just as important is this question: is digital health fair for everyone? Think about it. If an older patient in a rural area doesn't have good internet, or a low-income family can't afford a smartphone, are they just left behind? We have to actively work to close this digital divide to make sure the technology actually reduces health inequality instead of making it even worse.
And that brings us to a really critical point. The biggest barrier, it isn't always the technology itself. It's our ability to actually use it. We're talking about digital literacy. Both clinicians and patients need the skills and the confidence to use these new tools effectively. Because without the right training and support, even the most amazing technology in the world is just going to sit on a shelf unused.
So knowing all these challenges, what does the roadmap for building a truly smart, connected healthcare system actually look like? What are the key ingredients for success? You can think of this as a sort of report card for a successful national digital health system. Of course, you need a clear strategy and dedicated funding. That's a given. But the really critical piece, the one that makes or breaks the whole thing, is interoperability. That's a fancy word, but it just means the ability for all the different systems to seamlessly talk to each other. Because without that, your lab, your family doctor, and your hospital are just disconnected digital islands, and the whole system just, well, it fails. Which leaves us with one final big question to chew on. Digital health offers just incredible promise, there's no doubt about it. But is technology itself the ultimate cure for what's ailing our healthcare systems? Or is it simply a powerful tool, one whose success depends entirely on us, on our commitment to making it fair, secure, and easy for everyone to use? That's something to think about. Thanks for joining us.